Tanse. My name is Ken Ward and I come from the Enoch Cree Nation, Alberta. And I've been diagnosed since December 29th, 1989 with HIV. When I got sick, I was experiencing classic symptoms of HIV. Losing weight, I couldn't eat, received piercing headaches, night and day sweats. As a result, I was brought to the hospital in Edmonton, Alberta, and there they did a bunch of tests on me. After being released from the hospital, I went home and I was told then in December 29, 1989, that I was HIV positive. And for me, it was one of the most traumatic times of my life. How did I get this? What is this disease all about? It took a few months for me to grasp as to how I may have got infected, and it was obvious after learning a little bit about the information that it was through needle use. When I was told that I was diagnosed with HIV, when the doctor had said I had 6 months, 10 years to live, a lot of mixed bag of emotions went through me. I felt numb, I was traumatized, I felt a sense of aloneness, and I felt like there was no sense of purpose in my life. I didn't know whether if I wanted to live or perhaps die. That was one of the biggest choices I had to make. It was a lonely choice. It took me a couple months to ground myself to be able to understand where do I go from here. Since that time, I realized it was important for me to take control or take my life back. Being told I was going to die soon had prompted me to take some drastic steps. I had to make a choice, and that was to leave my community, my family, and to move into a home where they help people who are living with HIV or dying with AIDS. I heard that there was a rally being held in Edmonton for all the First Nations people in Alberta in terms of our health care and our benefits. I wanted to attend that rally simply because I was concerned about my benefits. Will my meds be covered? I didn't intend to go public. All I wanted to do was just to be there. Somehow, I guess the Creator must have put me in my spot and I was asked to speak. As a result, I spoke openly, took the risk, identifying and saying, my name is Ken Ward, I'm a Cree, and I'm living with HIV. As a result, elders from the Treaty 6 area honored me with an eagle feather. It was then I realized it was important that this issue with First Nations people living with HIV be heard. That's where my purpose then came to be. The unknown activist living with HIV goes public. But it was that first eagle feather that taught me about sacrificing a little bit about who we are. Since that time, I started looking at myself and understanding, well, what is my role in all of this? And what does it mean to be an activist? But I realized there was communities out there who wanted to hear my story, to understand what does it feel like? What are your issues? What are your problems? What are you afraid of? Do you believe in life? That was my #1 mandate in life as an activist. Then I realized my role started to evolve as an educator, promotion, and most of all, providing support as a peer or as a mentor. I embraced that, and then it became a full frontliner for the past 18 years. It was important to be able to go into those communities. It was time to realize, for me, that I'm just one, but there are many more who are living with the disease. So as a result, my role was simply to be able to provide that and to create an open understanding with those communities for people to come home and feel safe. And thus I became part of the Voice of the Land living with HIV. Currently, the trends are changing. When we talk within the Aboriginal sector, I find within my own experience in the last year, its majority are heterosexual. We do find that significantly addictions and drugs are playing a major role. But also unprotected sex is also another contributing force. I have a lot of concern for that. Simply being able to provide some awareness, more education, not only within our communities, but also for people who are living in poverty. It's no longer a gay man's disease. with the new increase of numbers, we need to be able to be more vocal. We need to promote a lot more with a SMART campaign in our communities, in our prisons, and also on the streets. Some people ask me, what is it you're doing to stay healthy at this point in time? I usually tell them